You're listening to the Breakaway Breakdown podcast, where we bring you interviews with some of the top ropers in the country, news about what's going on in the fastest sport on dirt, training tips for you and your horses, and so much more. I'm your host, Casey Allen. Let's jump in. Okay, I have a really special episode planned for you guys. today. I had the chance to do a little check-in from the ProRodeo trail with Lari Dee Guy. Yes, the 9-time world champion, 2-time NFBR qualifier, 2021 inductee into the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame, 2020 inductee into the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame, that Lari Dee Guy. She just won Red Bluff, California, so I had the chance to call her and see what's going on the road out there. She talks about her traveling partners, the different setups, different cattle, and she has some really good tips for you girls that might be wanting to get into pro rodeo, but you don't really know where to start or you're scared you won't know people when you get out there. Also, I cannot wait to tell you guys about one of my favorite supplements, Equinety, at the commercial break. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I know you're tired of hearing me talk, so let's jump right in. Hey Lari Dee, what you up to today?
Well, we're at the Branco's house in Chowchilla, California, just waiting for the purse to kick back up at Clovis, California.
Awesome. So I see you just won Red Bluff. Congratulations. Tell me a little bit about that rodeo.
Man, Red Bluff is a fun rodeo. It's, the stock contractor brought some bigger calves over there. We roped actually the same calves at Oakdale that we roped at Red Bluff, or we roped the same ones at Red Bluff that we roped at Oakdale. We went there first. But they're a bigger set of calves, and the box is pretty long. I think it's about a 20-foot box, so you had to let those calves out and go run them down, and it's makes for a fun roping. Makes for a really fun roping.
Awesome. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to get into today a little bit. Just talking about, you're someone that's roped in every pretty much setup in the world as far as breakaway roping goes, and I feel like some places are so unique and so different. So just talk to me a little bit about kind of the different regions. We'll start with America. How are those different cattle in different places and different setups? How does that affect your game plan?
Well, a lot of people would say California is set up for me because I usually ride, fast horses that score. And, the calves out here, little bigger type of calves that are pretty long strided. And you have to run the calf down. You have to have a horse that'll run to the calf and give you a good shot. And, average time out here, I would say is, above probably 2.6. There was people still placing in the average with, maybe a 3.5 on one and then maybe a 5.5 on one. So you dang sure get to run them out in the middle of the arena for sure.
Then up in the Northwest, talk to me a little bit about those setups and those cattle.
Well, this summer, we'll rope the same calves at a lot of places. It depends on where all you're going. But the calves get a little older later in the year, and the setups are a lot the same, in the Northwest. When you go out for the summer, you don't get to just really nod, ride, and throw. There's a couple places that you go like that, but majority of the places that you go during the summer, you get to go, score. You need to score really well and use what you have, but it's you don't have to just nod, ride, and throw. That's usually at the winter rodeos where the times get a lot faster.
So yeah, roping somewhere like Cowtown Coliseum in Fort Worth, how do you prepare yourself mentally for that kind of a setup versus, say, California? Because Northside's a lot faster.
Yeah, Northside is a lot faster. I think, Martha Angelone's probably been 1.4 over there, maybe Sawyer, Gilbert, a couple of those girls. It's just, the thing about the setups is, what people need to understand is if a rodeo is set up to be fast, then that means it's easy to be fast. If it's set up to not be fast, then it's really hard to be fast. So, it's one of those things where when I come to California, and prepare to come out here, I lengthen my box a little bit at my house, and I run a good set of calves, but a little bigger set of calves, and I make sure that my horse stands there at least, where when the gates open, a head around the end of the gate comes through the gate before I ever take off. And I rope outside a lot. I have an indoor arena, but I rope outside to just, kind of get in a wide open arena and prepare like that. If I'm at north side, I'll move my box up, to 14 foot and narrow it up to about 9 foot wide. And I rope some calves that dang sure want to run a little bit. And I work on the timing. I work on when I nod, the gates open, when the calf goes, I go, and I take one swing, second swing I'm roping on. I work on timing more than going and running a calf down and roping on.
Do you ask your horses to stop differently in those faster setups versus those longer setups? Or do you ride the same through your stops?
Well, it's kind of funny you say that. Is Jackie Crawford and I were visiting this morning about that exact thing. And, I want my horse stopping on a quicker setup. When I throw my rope and am pulling my slack back, I want my horse stopping on a quicker setup. I'm not one of those younger girls that can take some abuse and stuff, so I don't like my horse to stop when I throw my rope. I like them to at least let me pull my slack and get down in my saddle. Out here in California, I dang sure want my horse to go all the way through my throw, let me pull my slack, and when I'm throwing my slack back toward the calf is when I want my horse to stop out here. Reason being, as I said, the calves are bigger. The heads are bigger. They're longer strided. I think I need more, I need my horse traveling more through my throw out here to make sure my rope covers the area that it needs to cover.
That makes a lot of sense. As far as, some girls don't know the cattle when they go places. They don't know a lot about the setup. Can you just talk through, when you get to a place, if you don't know anything about the barrier, the setup, the cattle, what do you do? Like, what are the steps that you take to get prepared for your run and find out that information?
I go find the local people. I have friends in all different regions, and, I try to find out who the stock contractor is. I try to find out, if any of my friends have been, to a rodeo in that area before. I go try to gain all the information I can gain. I go find the judges. A lot of the PRCA judges are the same judges in a lot of different rodeos, and so you kind of get to know them, and I go and find them and ask them what the barrier is set at. It's not hard. You can go to the rodeo office and talk to the secretary and ask, who the stock contractor is, where you can find the judges, like all that kind of stuff. I just do my homework and do my research, and that way I'm prepared, because once you rodeo for so long and you know what type of calf you're roping, when you find out the type of calf it is, and you find out the start is a 2-under start, and you're roping in a pre-foot shoot or a WW shoot, then you know what that feel is. You know what that start is. So it doesn't matter really if you're first or last. If you've done your homework and got the information, then the start is the start.
That makes sense. My old college coach used to tell us, I think it was the Betty Gale Cooper that said you had to have it like a computer system, where you just got to the setup and you had it in your bank, your computer system, what you needed to do.
Yep, that's exactly right. Exactly right.
So if somebody walks up to just a pen of calves that they don't know, and maybe they're new, maybe a lot of people don't know information, what physical characteristics do you look for to maybe get some hints on what a calf might do?
How they're, how much ear they have on them. Are they pretty pot-bellied, or are they made, pretty lean and long underneath? First thing I walk up, I look if it's a heifer or not. A lot of times to me, the heifers are wilder and run more. I like to have a little bull calf. They always seem, to be better. if a calf's hanging his head a little bit, he might not feel as good. If he's slick, his hair is really slick, or if he's got a little dead hair on him. And it's just like walking up, and you saw kind of a guy that might not look as athletic, and might not be in the best shape in the world, and then you walk up and you see a track star standing there. Well, then it's pretty good odds that you're looking at the guy that's all fit and ready to go, that he's going to run a lot faster than the one next to him.
That makes sense. Do you go and pull the barrier back, or how do you figure out the barrier on your own at a rodeo?
Yes, I can do that, but it's usually pretty simple if you find, a judge that set the barrier and just ask them what it's set at. And, if it's 2 under, a lot of the outside rodeos are at 2 under. Once you start getting inside, it'll be 3 or 4 under. That means that, you set it, 3 or 4 foot under the length of the box. So if a box is 16 foot, then, if you say 4 under, then that is set at 12. If you say it's 2 under, it's at 14. So the more under that it is, the faster the start. The less under that it is, or up to even, if they say it's even, 16-foot box, 16-foot score, then that means that you're going to have to let them out a pretty good ways. Very seldom do we ever get under a 4 under, but a 4 under is a very quick start, depending on the calf. I mean, if you're running just a calf that's dang sure been ran before and knows how to go through the gates and all that, a 4 under start is very fast.
So what are some of the more unique setups that you've seen at rodeos?
We got to go to Salinas, where you come out of the head side of the box, and I think it was maybe a 25, 30-foot start. And, you have to let the calf out a long ways, and then you have to get behind the calf from the head side. That was a very cool setup. Cheyenne's always a really fun setup. It's a hand-pulled barrier, and you have to score the calves. Most of ours aren't fresh. Ours are, have been run. I think they put our start out there at 20 foot, and you have to let the calves out a long ways, and then a guy pulls the barrier. It's a hand-pulled barrier. So that's a neat setup. And, I've traveled out of the country, and we went to Sweden and did a demonstration over there in a clinic and stuff. And the cool thing about that is, well, I don't know if you call it cool, because over there it's so controlled, they won't let them rope live animals. So we roped dummies pulled behind 4-wheelers. And that was pretty unique. That would probably be the most unique thing I've ever done.
That's crazy. Was there crowds there, or was it just kind of a private?
There was a huge crowd there. I mean, there was it's like a big horse show. They do all kinds of events over there, but in the Breakaway, I mean, yeah, there was a huge crowd, and you backed in a box and you nod, and when you nod, the 4-wheeler takes off, and you have to let the dummy get to a certain point before you could go. And you really, when you hear that 4-wheeler take off, you think, man, that thing is really fixing to take off. But it takes it a minute, to get rolling. So, but when you hear that motor, rev up, you're like, wow, I need to get going. But once it takes off, I mean, you can rope it really quick. But if you let it get wound up, you'll be running in a while, because those 4-wheelers can run so fast,
Hey guys, so this episode is brought to you by the great folks over at Equinety. Equinety is one of my favorite companies, and I use the products for my Breakaway horses. Equinety Horse XL is 100% pure amino acid supplement. There's nothing added that your horse doesn't need. It can help improve their muscles. It can help them recover faster after workouts. It helps improve collagen, so your horse can have healthier coat and bones. And it maximizes your performance because it helps cells regenerate at a faster rate. That means fast recovery for those fast twitch muscles that you need to explode out of the box and stop hard at the end of a run. They also have Equinety Ultimate OEC, and I love this supplement. I didn't think Equinety could get any better until I started using it. It has flaxseed-based omega-3 oil, natural vitamin E, and colloidal silver. It can help support your horse's cardiovascular health, their joint health, gastric health, and it increases their immune support. So if you're traveling up and down the road a lot, that's something that's super important for your horse. Visit teamequinety.com to learn more about these supplements and see how you can get some for yourself. Awesome. So with all these different setups and, you roping around the world, how do you think that breakaway ropers can diversify themselves to be able to compete in all these different kind of arenas?
I just think you got to get seasoned. I think you need to get in, if you're a young breakaway roper, and I needed to give you advice, it would be to go get in with a seasoned roper, whether it's a calf roper or breakaway roper. Get in with them and learn from them. Go to the different setups. You can't grow in a black hole. So you got to get out of your comfort zone and go to entering and get out there and put yourself out there in those situations. And, the only way to get better is to, get in those situations and figure out what you need to do better next time. So I would say get with a veteran and get out there and get to going.
Speaking of traveling with veterans, let's talk about the truck full of ropers you guys have on the California run. Who's all out there?
We have Kelsey Chase Domer. We have Hope Thompson. We have Jackie Crawford and myself. We have 2 kids. We have a dog. And we have Cheyenne Britton, a young girl that ropes really good. She'd come out here to help us corral everything, the kids, the dogs, and the 4 head of horses that we have. So it's we got a pretty good rig, and the great thing about it is we've been out here a couple weeks and we're all still friends. So that's a good thing, because when you get we have a motor home, it's a toter home, so it's pretty big, but when you put 5 girls, 2 kids, and a dog in a confined area for 2 or 3 weeks, that's a lot. So, but we're all friends. We're all still friends, so that's a good thing.
How do you guys kind of push each other when you're hauling together, and what are some things you do that you think makes a good hauling partner?
A good hauling partner is, you gotta have someone, or, everyone in the rig needs to be encouraging. I mean, not everywhere you go, are you going to win? And, the people that don't win, you don't want to ever let them get down in your rig. The ones that are winning, keep the ones that haven't won, maybe at a couple rodeos, keep them and keep building them up, and there might be someone that doesn't, this week, one of the greatest ropers ever. I mean, Jackie Crawford she placed at a jackpot out here, but not the rodeos. You don't ever let those people get down, because you know how good, and how great they rope. You keep encouraging them. I've had a good go out here, and, Kelsey is doing great here at Clovis. This is our last one before we go home. Hope's doing great out here, and Hope hasn't had the best go of it, but as long as you keep, encouraging each other and helping each other and, looking at each other's videos and giving advice, then, the whole rig's going to end up winning, some way or another. And that's the main thing. Like, you don't want to have anything toxic in your rig. Like, you just, you want to have everybody in there out for everybody. When we get up in the mornings, whoever gets up first goes and feeds the horses. I mean, like, you'll come out here and your stalls will already be clean because someone come outside and cleaned them. Like, you just you help each other out and encourage each other and stay up there, and whether it's raining or not, you go up there and help your hauling partners.
Well, you don't have to name names, but do you have any stories of maybe people you got in the rig with that weren't great hauling partners, or ones that you've heard?
Well, you have that. And you'll have that actually even in a rig, a rig that is your hauling partners. There's going to be a time that, especially with girls, I mean, girls are, they're so emotional, and, they carry their feelings on their shoulders, and it's just, you're always going to have some kind of little something, but you got to be able to overcome it and make sure. And if you're not having, a good go, or you're not traveling well together, talk it out and know that you need to separate. That way you're still friends in the end. The one thing that I noticed so much rodeoing that I didn't notice before is, man, there's a lot of gossip, and I just don't think that if I have any trouble with anybody in my rig, I don't want to go talk about it. I want to just talk to the person. I want to discuss it with them, and that way that person doesn't get a bad rap, or I don't get a bad rap, out there. And I'm probably not the easiest person in the world to haul with. I feel that I do. I feel that I am, but you never know unless someone brings something to your attention. If I do something that I don't need to do, I want someone to tell me so I can make a change and make it better for the whole rig. It's a team effort out here, and I just think that, you gotta be a team, and you gotta, talk through it and get through it. I mean, it was Hope Thompson and Kelsey Domer, we all were, in a rig last year. And I mean, there was times that we went a couple days where we needed our space. But once you had your space and once you talked through it, then, everything would be fine. And I mean, then it's not a problem. You just don't make something small into something big out here.
That's such good advice, too, because I'm a barrel racer, too, and breakaway roping is so much different than barrel racing because you really can't do it alone. I mean, I feel like you've got to establish those friendships and that camaraderie with other girls on the road, even if you're not hauling with them.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're going to draw someone's same calf, and, you need a video, to see what the calf does. You might have to, the luxury we have that, barrel racers don't is, like, we might be able to go somewhere and jump on someone else's horse and, still compete at a top level. And you need to know that, you're good enough friends with those people that, hey, you can ride my horse here, and if you let me ride yours there, then you can ride mine over here. And that's the kind of stuff that, as a team out here, man, it sure helps out. And I mean, we have rigs, would team up, with a different rig. And that way, if some other rig was somewhere and then we were somewhere, they could ride our horses and then we could ride theirs. And it just makes for a good year out here. And it's fun. It's a family, it's like a big family out here. And I mean, as long as everyone's getting along, it's a very fun thing to do. I mean, rodeoing is really fun. I said, the only trouble I have is I'm not a real lazy person. And when you have a lot of downtime, so many times you can clean your stall and so many times you can clean your horse up. I mean, like you look for things to do out here. That's the only thing is I want to get better at finding more things to do while I'm out here with the downtime.
Where do you guys go next? What's your game plan looking like for this year so far?
The 4th is coming soon. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I mean, it's just, May is just around the corner, and a lot of the rodeos are coming out, and there's several of us already trying to get a plan for what we're going to do at the end of June and, through the 4th. We get home, there's a couple Texas rodeos we're going to go to, and it's really, once you get home, kind of getting all your stuff in order to get ready to leave for the summer, because about the middle of June, you leave and you're gone for a couple months. So it's just kind of getting everything in order, getting your place in order and getting your rig. You want to make sure that you got, your rig's ready to be gone for a couple months. So, and your place is prepared for you to be gone. So it's just like getting home and getting everything ready to go rodeo for the summer.
And then I noticed, too, when you talked about finding things to do on the road, that you guys have been putting on some clinics out there. Do you think that's something people can watch for this summer to maybe find you at some clinics?
Absolutely. And we had a great clinic. We just did a rig. We just did our whole rig. It was Hope and Kelsey and Jackie and I. Man, there was a lot of knowledge brought to that clinic. We did it in Oakdale, and I thought the people there gained so much from it, because everybody has their own strengths, and we all work together well, and I thought that was one of the best clinics that we have done. I really would like to incorporate Donnie Taylor. I mean, she's mine and Hope's mental game coach, and I'd love to bring her in when we're able to do some of these, just to help with that part of it. But man, the knowledge on the roping and scoring and all that, I thought was major with us four. And Kelsey's pregnant, so she's not going to be able to go all summer, but it may be Shelby Beaujolais or someone like that gets in the rig with us. So I think we're gonna dang sure try to do some stuff like that this summer when we have some downtime.
Awesome. And Dawneen's up there in Wyoming, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And anytime I do a clinic, she travels and helps me, Hope and I with the clinics that we do. And I think she's a major part of my clinics.
Mm-hmm. How important is that, having a mental game coach when you're on the road and you maybe can't get home to practice and you're set up and, you got to ride it out because you're entered in 10 more rodeos? And
Well, it's so important. So many people have no idea how much the mental game plays, in rodeo. It's just, it's at least half. I mean, once you learn how to rope, you don't forget how to rope. Once you learn how to score, you don't forget how. There might be, you might get in a small little thing that you have to work your way out of with the basics or something like that. But what I notice the most out here is, you got to stay mentally strong and know that you're out here for a reason, and you know your job and you know what to do, and you got to stay confident in what you do. And having someone that helps you with that, I feel it's major. I mean, there's times that, last summer I got hurt. I hurt my knee, and then I got hurt in a different way, and I missed a couple calves in a row over the fourth that I don't usually miss, and I was needing a little mental coaching. And once I got it, I come back and I had a great fourth and never got to go rope. It wasn't that I was hurt. I couldn't practice. I was just entering, but it was just helping me to get on the right track and have the confidence that I needed in myself to be able to compete. I've competed for over 40. I don't know. I hate to even say it, but 44 years. I mean, I probably started my first place when I was 6 years old. So, I've done this a long time. I just need to have confidence that I know my job, and having someone to help you with that, it's major.
And then, since this is the Breakaway Breakdown, we got to talk about some technical things. So what is something that you've been working on in your roping technically right now while you're out in California?
Straight basics in California. Like I said, the calves are bigger, long strided. You got to run them down. You got to have a horse that's one that can run to the calf and catch up and give you a good chance. And out here, you don't take a lot of chances. You just do your job out here. So when I prepare to come out here, I prepare by knowing that I can sit there and see the start. If I tell myself this is the start, that I am confident I can sit there and see the start, that I can run my horse to the calf, look at the calf, and rope the calf. It's a straight basic roping in California. And so that's all that I have prepared for and focused on. And and if you look at the people that have done well in California, that is all they've done. They've scored really well. They've run their horse to the calf and roped the calf. There hadn't been a lot of chances taken.
And then what would you say is the best piece of breakaway roping advice that you've ever been given?
I would say the best advice is just believing in yourself and staying in your lane. There's so many people that rope good, and once you've established you as a roper and get out here, stay in your lane. Do your job. So many people get out here and they see someone start winning, then they start doubting themselves or wanting to change and all that. And I just think that, once you get out here and get that established, just stay in your lane and do your job, and man, it will pay off.
Well, Lari Dee, thank you so much for your time today. I know you've got a lot to get back to there, and it's pretty early in California, so I appreciate you taking the time to kind of check in with me and talk to me today.
Thank you so much, Casey.
I just love talking to Lari Dee because every time I do, I feel like I learn something new. I thought it was really interesting how she mentioned that she had adjustable boxes at her house. which is something that Cadence Crawford mentioned on our last episode about the boxes at Jackie's. I hope you enjoyed having Lari Dee check in from the ProRodeo Trail. And if it's something you're looking to get into, you're definitely going to want to check out teamequinety.com, because Equinety will keep your horses feeling their best when you're going up and down the road on those long drives and going in those long setups out west like Lari Dee talked about today. If you want to learn more from Lari Dee, also make sure to check out breakawayroping.com because she's one of our coaches there. Make sure to let us know on Facebook or Instagram how you liked today's episode, and we will be back with some bonus content next week.